Live Friday night, FSBRacing.com, your home for Friday night sim racing. Winston Cup 88, Aero 88. We're here in Chicago, the home of Guy Pitra. We're going to tear his house up after the race. I'm here with Greg Bernardo, our ace #1 producer. What's up, Greg?
What's up, Milty? Glad everyone could be joining us for this race tonight. A huge field, Milty. I love seeing the 30 car, I think, field here. So Chicagoland's fast. The setup is very good. It's a little dicey in the beginning, but if everyone settles in, I think it should be a very good race.
Well, and that was stressed in the drivers' meeting. You know, this series has kind of ebbed and flowed, and now we've got new applicants, and we're filling up the server on Friday nights for FSB Live TV, and
that's right. Love it.
It's definitely cool.
Yeah, it is. And speaking of cool, our usual man, Mark DeSenza is the Kevin Harvick of FSB, Milty. How many poles does he win? Pro Cup and Aero. It seems like if he's not first, he's second. Awesome qualifier. And of course he's won, put a win in on the Pro Cup, Milty. Big win for him, so he's got a lot of momentum, and he's starting on the pole, so he's continuing. Bill Yarbrough right there too. Bill had that Pro Cup win in his grasp, Milty, just right there in the palm of his hand. Made one little bobble, Mark pounced on it, and that was it for the race. And I'm sure Bill's disappointed, and redemption is, I'm sure, on his mind. He started second, so he's focused. Mike Sanders, Dave Jandry, Robert Bokum 5th. So Robert's put in a quality lap. But look at those times, Milty.
Well, this talented NASCAR 2003 field, you guys have been doing this game for a long time. It's still a great game. Still, physics and the pit stops, everything. It creates the whole thing of racing. There are other things that look better and cost a lot more, so bang for your buck is pretty good here. And you're going to get a good race here. Like you were talking about, the 6 and the 54, they both have been on momentum swings, and sim racing's funny like that, especially when you have equally talented drivers all the way through the field.
Yeah, we're just slowly going through the field here. Apple Collision Center sponsoring our Aero 88 series. I'd like to thank them for the sponsorship. We know talking to Robert, of course, many times in Victory Lane. I watched the broadcast and a big fan, so we appreciate their sponsorship. Robert Bokum, Mark DeSenza carrying the Apple Collision Center's colors, so good to go there.
The other homeboy is John Palmer from Chicago.
That's right.
And also Yarborough's from Illinois. So
yeah, so a lot of guys want to. There's we got a green flag, Milty. Mark DeSenza leads us now. And trying to see that field stream out and get safely around these first 3 corners.
Dave Hansen was talking about snap loose off, pushing down the turn G, but he turned his steering ratio down. He said he was getting a little more easier in, and his car was kind of getting tight, and they were turning the wheel in 100%, and then the car would get loose.
And there you see FSB legend, living legend, the 15 car, Matt Watkins, starting from the back in his traditional start now, Milty, and they'll have a challenge here. 30 cars he's going to have to beat to get in the victory circle, so we'll see how that treats him. Good challenge for him, which is what he looks for.
Well, he's definitely destroyed my records and created his own new and also the likes of Kevin Lewis and Damien got still, and on you can go, the legends that run here 11 years.
So,
Nicole Johnson started back there. We had a great battle at Circuit of America. I think she's trying a different strategy that hasn't been her deal. She's been always qualifying up front. Now she's starting to move up. Got some cars on the apron in front of her. You can go down below that white line.
yeah, the white line's in play here. Of course, like is caution to the drivers during the meeting about that white line is sometimes spotters won't give you any assistance and you're on your own. So if you go below that white line and you come up and bump someone, that's on you. So everyone's got to be wary of that. But yes, the apron is in play down the front stretch.
Richard Sapp just scraped the wall a little bit. No harm, no foul. Richard, new driver and the oldest driver, and the second oldest driver is right behind him. Pops in the 99. These guys can still roll, man, and they're
got a
going
caution
at it.
out. Looks like we have a caution out, Milty.
Caution is out.
Our first caution of the night. We're trying to see if any cars are telltale off the pace. Seems like the 9 of Ken Hansen, Milty.
Take a look at that. Well, Ken, with a win this year and fighting for the championship still up there real close. I'm not sure which position he's in. I forgot. Sorry. But he had a bad race last week, and he kind of got saved by the rain out server issues. They will replay it. We will replay that race.
Yeah, I see some.
He was in pit road.
But,
no, that's okay. Never mind.
I'm trying to see if I can.
Yeah, I didn't see that.
I see some smoke
Catch it
here,
yet?
but I don't see any cause of it.
Big ass field here. A lot to watch.
Well, let's see. I don't know. It's a phantom caution if you maybe.
Oops, I used the Alt-4 key. All I saw was the 40 crash. Did you get it?
No,
the 40
maybe
scraped the wall, and usually the Alt-4 key catches an incident, but trying to look back here.
Well,
nobody's smoking, nobody's on fire. Okay, maybe that's a competition caution.
yeah, well, that's
lap 6 here.
Yeah,
cars on pit road here. Let's get some freshies. Chicago's old service.
Absolutely, they'll be getting freshies every chance they get.
Gotta get faux.
Yeah, just yeah, the 40 did bounce off the wall. Looks like the 444 there was very slow on the apron, Milty. The 444 of
I did see him
Andre
retire.
Fiorini.
So maybe it was him. Let's see if we can take a look and find him, because he is retired. 9's 2 laps down.
Looks like there was contact with the 48 car of
there we go.
Greg Combs, and the 444 car got together, and he was hard into the outside wall there, Milty. That was
must
have been the cause of the caution.
Greg
it only took me an hour to find it.
But he came up a little bit, but then again, it looked like Andre, in that position, you need to make sure you leave enough room. Looked like he came down there.
Yeah, it looked like maybe you might call that a racing deal, but
yep.
like you said, when you're on the outside, you got to be really wary there.
Absolutely.
Because when the contact happens, you lose, and the inside guy generally can keep it together and keep going. So you have to keep that in mind and give them extra maybe room, or just lift a little, let them get around you, and get right behind, and try it again. You can do that too.
And we use, as we're still under caution, we use a INI file, which cuts down on the, shows the cars in the broadcast a little wiggly, but it cuts down on the warping crashes that this game was, you know, being it's, you know, really old, since 2003. It's 11-year-old game, so but that INI file, so when you go flying off, you've made contact, definitely. So
yeah, Ken Hansen also 2 laps down, Milty, so Ken had some troubles too. As we said, the 444 has retired, and everyone else on the lead lap, so 28 cars on the lead lap. Yes, 28 whopping cars on the lead lap. So if Ken's car isn't damaged, Milty, which I didn't see any damage,
you can try to get him back.
Yeah, this could be a quick opportunity for him to get back on the lead lap. Plenty of laps left to race then after that, and he can you know, still obviously be a contender here. Lights are out on the pace car right now, so we're getting back to green flag racing at lap 10. Lap 10.
Still old school. Before the lucky dog, there ain't no lucky dog, so you gotta earn your way back.
And we are green.
Yeah, Andre, tough luck for him, but he's made some noise in the rookie division. Good races. He's fast, and he had a connection issue that
he's in Canada. Well, he's in Canada, that's why. You know where Canada is.
Yeah, that's where Derby Dawn is a man, and sheep are afraid there.
Oh, and we got a couple cars in tandem there. Slid up the 30 of Mike Guidry and the 07 there, Ken Saska, both slid up a little high there, Milty. A little, almost like a Darlington stripe type bump there.
Well, the guys we keep interviewing every week, the 18 and the 15.
And we have another caution out, Milty. And the 40 car's down into the grass here. And he might have had a little damage from bumping the wall earlier on, Milty. And let's yeah, he got up a little high there, got loose, and no contact with any other car, but out hard into the outside wall, then down into the grass. Little loose there coming off, and that could be from earlier damage. See 40 of Richard Sapp. So Richard's had an adventurous 10 or so laps here, Milty. We see pace car has the field. No, a couple takers. It looks like Mike Guidry is a taker. He was one of the ones that just lightly kissed the outside wall there in the last lap there, right before the caution. So he's going down to maybe get some quick repairs here while he can, and see what he can do.
Yeah, that all 4 button keeps screwing me up on TeamSpeak. I'm gonna have to change those because, yeah, I was just trying to. I was talking about that accident there, and I was somewhere else.
Yeah, I was wondering where you went, but I was just running with it. Well, right now, Milty, Mark DeSenza starting on the pole, leading. Bill Yarbrough started second, still in second. 191 of Mike Sanders, third. 18 of Robert Bokum, fourth. And the 02, Milty. And that's Dave Simons.
Well,
who we've seen run well last week as well.
Yeah, to finish my thought there, what the drivers were saying, when they were up high coming out of turn 3 or turn 4, they were getting tight, and then when they turned the wheel, they got loose. Looks like that's what happened to Richard. He got loose, and then he had to crank it over not to hit the other driver. Yeah, Simons has been pretty exemplary. Top 5 car here again. He's running good before the rain out last week. Car spinning again.
Yeah, let's see. So let's continue to go through some of this field, Milty. Talk about some people that maybe we don't get a chance to. The 44 there, Mark Favored. He's now moved up with some pit stops happening. He's up to 3rd, it looks like now.
Well, he's been
the 191. Of Mike Sanders. Mark Favored in 5th place in the 44 car.
Consistently getting more and more competitive. Was real humble before the race, talking about you know how that's going to take him. He thinks like 5 years to get up to the Matt Watkins level, but I don't know, man. He keeps progressing and getting better and better and running farther and farther towards the front. When you do that, you start to put together consistency.
Yeah, and then right behind Mark is the 72 of Mike Pruitt. Had a lively conversation pre-race. Milty, brother in arms, maybe here.
Yeah, he's a plumber, a lot of years of experience, and we were talking like, you know.
Yeah,
we were talking
really thrilling the audience as you two conducted basically like a private conversation in front of everyone. That was yawning and actually trying to focus on, you know, fuel mileage and tire wear, and you're talking about an 1/8-inch drain pipe, and you know, yeah, it was kind of dry conversation for the uninformed. But Mike's, you know, he's shown a lot of promise, Milty. Another, can he get the finish that, you know, he gets up there, it looks like he might get a good finish, and then all of a sudden something goes up, and, you know, he has nothing to show for how well he ran during the race, and let's hope he can bring something home here.
Yeah, and you know, really proud of these guys to get that good start, and now you see so many cars still in the hunt, and you know, they definitely have been working on it, you know, and we've had like 2 or 3 really tough tracks in a row that were, and now we're on a bigger track. These guys have you know, learned a little bit, and I think now we have you know, some good spacing, you know.
Yeah, absolutely, and let's see if we can get something running here. The 6 of Mark DeSenza leads them down. Green flag racing.
Guy pitcher has to kind of veer away a little bit from Joe Cutter, but that's what we talk about, staggering on the restarts, making sure you have a clear view out to make sure if somebody misses a gear or something, you don't just plow in the car behind you.
Yeah, absolutely. Restarts are very dicey. Some guys go through the gears slightly different than others, and you know, that's why there's a no racing until the backstretch rule in FSB, so everyone can just, you know, get up to speed on their own pace and then let the racing begin.
Well, when you talk about the 2 guys we've been interviewing every week, we got 15, Matt Watkins in 9th and Robert in 24th. Just riding right now.
Yeah,
this thing's looking kind of greeny, but you know the kiss of death, man. But we'll see how it goes once we get into the tire run.
Yeah, and then about 3 or 4 or 5 laps in, they'll notice that the setup becomes very nice and very drivable, low and high. And with the drafting, everything can be equal for quite a bit. and that's what they have to get to, though. And when you can't get to that, it becomes very frustrating, and then you end up with guys trying to make moves because they know another caution is going to come right out, and they're trying to advance their position as quickly as possible, and that's when the racing gets tight. And the 07 hard into the wall.
Michael Morris and the great Robert Bokum were going at it. Oh, Nicole had the, yes, Saska's in the wall there.
Wow, and the 07 Milty hit a ton into the wall.
Kit Saska has been putting a lot of work in, and every Saturday night he's opening up the server for takers, and we had, you know, a lot of guys were doing the Dakota testing, so but he's always got it open setup for cup practice, so you can plug in your different fixed setups from whatever division you're in.
Yeah, and let's take a look back at that. That was a hard impact for Ken. Everything looked okay, and then the 80 and the 07 got together, and a hard hit to the outside wall. Very hard hit. Everyone else seems to have avoided the
I don't
carnage.
know if Ed Spotter even saw it, because that's a place you don't see wrecks very often.
Yeah, that was.
I mean, you know,
Ed was definitely moving up as if there was no one there, but unfortunately Ken was there. And,
that Spotter's
hard into the outside wall there for Ken.
Poor Ken. Those are one of the ones you're going, why me? Why was I there? You know, and I'm sure Ed feels like, you know, terrible.
Yeah, I mean that's
pit stops. Cars staying out too for track position.
Yeah, but the host of cars coming into pit lane, Milty. 6, 50, all the front runners in. Of course, Matt Watkins already in and out, and
woo boy,
Matty Watkins comes out second.
Saska, he gets hosed again because he had to wait, but. See, that's sportsmanship right there. Is, you know, you're already beat up, and he saw because he came in late because he wrecked. He saw the car coming out there and waited patiently to give them so they could keep themselves in the race. That's good racing right there. It's not about just what you do on the racing surface. It's also that impresses me.
Yeah, and we're watching the 15 of Matt Watkins. Milty came in well back in the field there as they went down pit lane. 2 tire change only, and back out, and he came out ahead of a lot of the front runners. So Matt Watkins using an early track position move.
Oh, so many good cars out here, and guys we haven't seen in a while. Dino Francesconi and also the new announcement, Thor Dog Racing has signed Jim Scharf, the 23.
Right. Your favorite car in the field, the pink Freightliner car of Jim Scharf, Milty. Yeah,
it's a great pickup.
Official signing announced.
And an unprecedented move. Also, he also courted the young stud there, Isaac Johnson, who hasn't even made it through his trial period, which, you know, until you become a member, you know, you can't join a team. So, but it's already, you know, he's letting the other teams know, I want this guy before
It's just like college football, Milty. You can't recruit early enough. So the dog being aggressive
and he's a young fella, but he's got talent
in the team. However,
trying to build something there.
Yeah, and you know, FSB says you can have 4 guys, so why not fill those spots? And right now they got 3 of the 4 filled, so obviously we know where they're heading. So let's hope Isaac has a successful tryout, which I'm pretty sure he will.
It should be one to go here.
They'll be filling out their team pretty nicely there. It's nice to see.
Well, you know, being this early, what if somebody else sends him an email? Then you might have a bidding war, you know.
That's right.
Good thing you don't actually get paid. Simons comes in, and so he relinquishes the lead, decides, you know what, I better not do that. And so Dan Francisconi,
yeah, just that hands the lead to Dan.
In the lead, and Thor Dog, the
local
team owner there, he's
and
local boy,
Doug Palmer in second. So, of course, another shout out to Mother Palmer, who hopefully is, if she's not watching live, Milty, Dog hooks her up with a replay, so she can see her. She wants to see her son battle in FSB's best, and he's in second right now. So obviously he's going to have that chance right now.
Well, and then we got the up-and-coming superstar, I think. One of them, you know, your teammate there, the 77, is along with Alan Myers and Mike. You guys got a formidable team, and all running the same division. Eventually, you guys are going to have to come up. Hopefully, you'll be able to come up together as we get with green.
Yeah, green flag. Then we'll lead the field down. You see it stream out behind them. 108,
this is 77,
and then Robert Bokum. So Robert's looking at the three cars in front of him and saying, "All right, you know, some new faces up in front of me. Let's see what they do." Yeah,
he's dogging him.
Dog with a good restart. Pat also with a good restart. Then with a very good restart. So everyone in the front there doing what they need to do. Then there's Robert Bokum. Of course, Ken Hansen a couple laps down gives away proper. And he'll just continue to give it a go at the front there until he's successful, or until the race ends. And he.
If you get a caution, but you want to be like second, but it's awful hard on that restart.
And you can see a lot of 2x2 racing.
The goal is to use track position to get her way up there. Now she's in the top 5.
Yes, she is. As Robert Bokum gets around the 7-7 car, Melty. So Robert, different strategy than maybe we're used to seeing for the 18. The 18 using the go to the front and lead laps strategy, as the 108 makes a move, and the 108 is going to be. And let's see if he will be leading at the line here.
There you go.
And this could be Dog's first lap led under green, I believe, Melty, which is an awesome feeling, man. When I leading under caution is one thing, but man, when you lead under green and you know you're the fastest car at that point, you're feeling good. And
well,
he is right now.
Dog uses hand controls. He's been paralyzed for about 37 years, a long time, from the waist down, and so he got him a real good wheel, and he started here from scratch, and he's moved his way up, and he's about to lead a lap against Robert Bokum here.
And what I'm sure is kind of and the 77 a little on the apron there. You got to be careful. And Pat gets a car a little out of shape. He's into the grass. Let's hope that he can keep it down and not avoid.
I think Dog got the lap, so, and he goes back behind. He knows that Dog knows that this isn't his strength. He's a points racer, and he's very humble, and that's why he's gotten so much better, because he just sucks in the information, and he knows now he's got tires.
That's and it's also mission accomplished for him. He led laps under green. He led the entire aero field.
Best in FSB.
And absolutely, as there goes Matt Watkins down on the apron. So the veteran knows how to get the best use of every track, Milty. And Chicagoland is a Matt Watkins track. He likes it. I'm sure he shows
He knows he's got better tires than Robert, and Robert used that for track position. So he knows if he sits back behind with his good tires, he hasn't gained nothing. He got better tires than. Because they're racing against each other, believe me, even though it's early. So he's thinking, you know what, I got to go.
And Ken Hansen, Milty, is working his way back to the front here. So Ken's car
really
Ken's car seems to be coming in. Of course, he's laps down, but he's going fast. And Matt Watkins here right on the back bumper of Ken Hansen, pushing him hard. And Ken's got a handful of wheel, I think, right now. And there he goes.
He got loose, and Matt dodges it. Can he go through the grass without spinning? He's sideways, and nobody hits him there. Great driving. Look at Matt Watkins slam on the brakes. go down.
Wow.
You know, he's just not just
wow.
a pretty face. You know. Look
No,
at the power slide out of there.
Wow.
That's a you know, how many times he's won the Pro Cup? I don't know. 5 times or whatever. That's the world champion right there.
I'm speechless. I have to watch that. I don't believe it.
Yeah, play it over.
I don't believe what I just saw.
Oh, and he locks it up while they're trying to get under caution. They're lined up to go in the pits.
I'm telling you, Milty, we'll take another look at that from Matt's car
What
here.
do I say all the time? He's got the fastest hands in FSB racing.
Let's ride with him here, Milty. He was really pressing Ken. Of course, like I said, Ken was laps down, but Ken's car came to life. And, but boy, Ken got out of shape there right in front of Matt. He did what he had to do. He turned the car left.
He saw it.
But
look at that.
He got loose, corrected, got loose, and just come right through the grass.
Slam on the brakes hard.
And good to go.
Lift and roll through the grass.
Wow.
He hit a little divot there. When he come out, he hit a little sideways. Wow.
So,
woo, that. I'm going to take a pit stop. I'll be right back.
So we'll let the cars sort each other out there. And there we see the cars. Let's go back live here. We see them finishing up with the pit stops, and take a look at those here. We see Matt Watkins there in that orange car already in. Left side's going on. Way back there. Here, let me get rid of that so you can see. Way back there is Matt Watkins getting 4 tires. And then there we see our front runners. There's Bill Yarbrough, Dave Jandry, Robert Bokum, the 30 Mike Guidry's in there. And then we see Nicole coming out. Robert Bokum comes out. And Sam and the 19 of Troy Higgins also with a great pit stop out ahead of Matt Watkins with that 4-tire change. So there's the disadvantage of the far pit stall, I believe, when you do 4 tires. And Matt not able to advance as many as he would have liked to. Or maybe that you normally would if you qualify up front. So a couple cars got around him, and that's the way it is. And he'll have to deal with that.
Hey, we saw kind of I can't even think of the word. A celebrity here, Ray Alfala, came into TeamSpeak. He's going to be watching the broadcast. He's like an iRacing champion, and
yes,
yeah, it was pretty cool. He was checking us out.
Don't know what I don't want to, give an inexact title for his championship, but it's something on the level.
Well, he's like a world-class driver,
world racing championships.
There's like 50 guys.
That's it. Yeah.
Out of 14,000, they get there. You know?
That's it, yeah. And they race full length. They race full 100% distance NASCAR schedule. So
it's like,
it's
racing against Dale Jr.
Yeah, this isn't a 50-lap shootout or anything, or even a 40%er that we're racing tonight, Milty. 107 laps at Chicagoland, and these guys like Ray, 107 laps are just starting to settle in for the race. Yep. And our race is over, so it's hard to appreciate the dedication it takes to focus for a 400. Can you imagine doing 400 laps at Dover, Milty, behind your wheel?
Well, I did the 24 hours. I did the 24 hours of Le Mans in NASCAR 2003 3 times. So yeah, I can a little bit. Falling asleep in my chair.
Yeah, it's grueling, and at the highest levels, very impressive. And I'm a fan of iRacing.
Yeah, and he's up there, man.
Yeah, I enjoy the way iRacing is. It's very different from this type of racing, so it's a lot different, and I enjoyed a lot of the road racing there on iRacing. They have a lot of courses, and the competition level, Milty, you just show up for just any kind of official race in iRacing and on the road courses, any of them. Just pick one that you have a car for. Don't matter. And the competition level is stiff. You can't just ride around and walk away with a top 5. You have to earn it.
Yeah, I went all the way to Class A in road racing, and of course costs a lot of money that I don't have
of course that's why we're here at FSB. FSB a little easier on the pocketbook, Milty.
Hansen really needed to get in second there and try to get his lap back. There was no damage there, so he just smoked 4 good years. But this is what you got to do. You got to keep racing for it.
Yeah, well,
we missed what happened to him. So
yeah,
the way he's running, I have a feeling he's got damage. I really do.
Yeah,
he's not fast enough.
Yeah, he doesn't seem to have that kick off the green flag here, and he kind of lays back.
Caution is out.
Yeah, and this is and it looks like the 40 car is involved again, Milty.
That's two incidents on him at FSB Racing. You get 2 incidents. He needs parking.
Well,
but he learned a lot, he's kind of starting from scratch, and very humble, very cool. Gonna have to, gonna have to learn some things, and you can't do it if you're not on the track. As
you said, Ken was saying early on, you can get real loose if you're in the grays part of the track, and that's what happened to him. And he did get loose, and he was hardened to the wall, and other cars scattered, and there we see the 48 going through the grass a little grass adventure there for the 48, but no harm, no foul there. And so
Greg Combs has really improved his average finish position in the rookie division, and Possum Hollow has become really competitive with many drivers. See Monty up there running in the lead earlier this week for a while, and they're getting it done, and they have a lot of fun doing it.
Yeah, they certainly have. Maybe some would say they're having too much fun, but yeah, they're an interesting bunch of guys.
Well, they're your enemy, so I can see why you're kind of going blah blah blah.
Just be a diplomat here.
Well, that's racing, man. You guys are racing for fun here, but also racing for position.
I check my personal opinions at the door when I broadcast, Milty.
Yeah, that's a good thing.
That's how I can deal with you too. So
yeah. Well, DeCenza back on top here.
Yeah, DeCenza's finally got back to where he needed to be. He stayed out of trouble, and there was some diciness that can happen here. Looking through the field, Milty, Sammy now is up to 3rd. Troy Higgins up to 4th. Matty Watkins in 5th. So there's Bill Yarbrough coming back. He was up, of course, at the front at the start of the race as well. He dropped back a little through the pit stops in the yellows, and now he's back up to 6th. And you know what Bill likes to do, Milty? He likes to go to the front. So,
but somehow he got shuffled in strategy a little bit there, but he's right. He's right with the 15, so that's always a good thing to follow to the front. Now we're back on equal tires. Everybody stopped, so now we'll see how this plays out.
We've seen from time to time when there's a kind of a rash of cautions all of a sudden, like you get 2, 3, 4 cautions within a 10 or 12 lap period. Different strategies start playing out. Some guys will pit in the first caution, and the next one comes out, they stay out. Others go in, and then everyone gets scrambled up a bit. And when it's all said and done, it looks like maybe Mark played it right, because he's back up at the front where he wanted to be. Lights are still on here, so We're looking at probably a restart on lap 41.
Bill, 27 still running.
And you can do 30. If we do get a green here, Milty, you can do about 30.
34.
Yeah, 33 I was going to say, but maybe 34 laps if you're drafting.
You do 36 if you clutch, but
I would say
that doesn't happen.
Yeah, pit lane gives you about 33 from a top up on your screen, but yeah, you can probably squeeze another lap or two with cautions and clutching. But assuming 33 as our guide, if we go back 41 and we do stay green, we'll see when those first bits. And if you're abusive here, Milty, the tire wear can hurt you as well. So,
well, there's a ton of guys.
Sometimes you can't last those 33 laps because you're screaming for tires.
Well, there's a lot of guys that are going to be going, maybe I ought to start trying to move up, so that could create some problems, but it's still pretty early, so I think it's better off to wait a little bit more and then maybe try some pit strategy to, especially if you get an early caution, guys are going to pit and guys are going to stay out.
Lights are finally out on the pace car, so we will go back green at lap 41.
The multi-talented Sam Young, my teammate there.
Yeah, he's up to third.
Boogity boogities. He's a stud, man.
Well, yeah.
Short track championship leader right now.
That's right, he is, and he's winning a lot of across many series. So he likes seeing the leaders, and when he gets that taste of blood in his mouth, and he's gonna run with it. And right now, he's in third. Troy Higgins in the Geico car, Milty, is off to a good run. But Matt Watkins there gets a little out of shape. It looked like they both had the same idea at the same time. Ken Hansen with a little blink out, too. So Ken not having any luck tonight. And Matt Watkins goes for a ride. Whoa! He saves it again. And we stay green here, so Matt's going to have to gather it up, take a deep breath, and keep on going. And wow.
Your buddy, teammate Mike Guidry is starting to make some noise up to 6th place there.
Yeah, Phil Yargo in the 30 almost had a little contact there as well, as the racing, Milty, is fast and furious here.
It's getting more urgent.
Yeah. It really is, and still, 60-plus laps remaining right now. They're treating it like 10 laps to go almost here, and Matt Watkins has had a lifetime of racing in this just 40-lap stint so far. He's aged. He just turned 30, Milty. You remember?
Poor boy.
And I think right now he's 35. Yeah. I think, though, he's catching up to you because he's about 35 years old after dealing with this race so far.
Well, I think his urgency was what he's seeing is about 10 laps in caution where everybody needs to pit. So, it's awful hard to it's getting in 10 to 15 laps. You're starting to get into where if you get up front and you get a long run, you might get hosed.
And we're just watching racing all over the track. The O2 car there of Dave Simons is getting a little out of shape there, and it looks like the 32 car of Michael Morris had to take evasive action and got into the wall. So we're looking at some racing here toward the back of the field. So Dave Simons getting a little loose there, trying to maybe get a little too much, too fast. 151 of Guy Petra, Milty. Another you finally familiar with. Struggling here a little. He's back in 25th place and well off the pace of even the further back guys. I don't know if he's had damage or not. I don't recall seeing him in any of these things, but Guy Petra struggling a little here, which is unusual coming off a big pro truck win last night, Milty. Guy Petra, and he really dominated. Yeah.
Well, guys, a homeboy here, he's from Chicago, close to the real track, but yeah, that's great news. You know, me and him, we always jaw back and forth, but one of the longtime friends, which is all part of the deal you can get here. Oh, we got a car around. That's Mike Sanders, 360 into the wall. That's coming out of 2.
And we do have a caution out as they race back to the line.
They're still racing back to the line here. Rick Combs is feeling pretty jiggy there in that 48.
And the 9 of Ken Hansen.
Oh, Ken Hansen in the wall, too.
Yeah, the 9 of Ken Hansen also in the wall, Milty.
Well, these guys are racing
from bad
hard
to
back
worse
to the
for
line
Kenny.
for 19th place, you know. Jeez.
Yeah, that's
not sure what happened. We didn't catch Ken before, so we don't know if Ken or the other car was the. So that could be 1. If this is him spinning again, that could be 2. He might have to park it. Could have championship implications, and he's already in the weeds anyway. He might want to consider that.
And we'll take another look at Ken here and see if they're separate incidents or if they're one and the same. He was right behind Mark DeSenza there.
I think if it's like Ty goes to the runner, but that's baseball. So when the caution comes out and both guys crash, I think they pretty much consider both guys involved.
And Ken just looped it and ran through the grass and tried to get the car righted, but slid up toward the wall and
yeah, just got too low. He was trying to get out of the way. You know?
And looks like the 8 car there of Dino Francisconi had to take real evasive action through the grass there, but he rode it down enough and did a nice job there.
Yeah, Dino Madera of the brothers Francisconi.
That's right.
They're
virtual neighbors.
Yeah, they're about 20 minutes away from me, and they also Dino was the son of Enzo Ferrari's name. You know, that's a pretty when it comes to Italians, that's a pretty good name there, Dino. The Ferrari Dino.
And
plus they made a car named Dino.
Yeah, no, we're looking here, not live, but back as we see the field stream down pit lane. So we're going to watch these pit stops, and we'll go back live. The 5 of Nicole Johnson leads them down. Nicole was another one that elected not to qualify. Like you said, a little different tack than we're used to seeing her do. And she has a back marker pit stall, Milty. She has a stall that even I wouldn't even be in maybe sometimes. So she's going to have to take very careful getting out and in with cars streaming in and out. But she did a great pit stop there, and she got out ahead of Matt Watkins and Mike Pruitt. And there she's battling Sammy for
wow,
and almost some contact there with the Mike Sanders. So pit lane is always busy and tight.
30 cars, woo! Sammy on the gas. Yeah, boy, I'm watching that about 4 seconds behind there.
Sam's train, Milty, when that jack hits,
bam!
That right foot just punches.
Nicole
it's like a reflex action.
In her own admission, has qualified good and then raced to try to stay up in the front. Now this time, I think what she's doing is because she's such a great driver, great road racer. What an awesome battle we had. And she's saying, you know what? Okay, I see Matt Watkins win these races. How's he doing it?
Well,
I see Robert do it.
You're
stay back
right.
a little bit, and instead of racing cars so hard, try to use track position, and then when you get to the end, then you race hard.
Yeah,
she definitely can beat any of these boys.
She's a real student of the game, Milty. She takes notes. She is into doing those kind of things, and yeah, and of course she has great equipment. I know she's playing a little hurt here with the hand, so
the hand
she's toughing it out. But again, Milty, we've had a couple FSBers playing through pain. Jeff Hale
back
had
problems,
some back issues. I think someone else just posted some pictures in there that showed all these things
Yeah,
stuck in his back.
That's Michael Olson,
Jesus,
long-time driver here.
Yeah, I mean
endurance racer when we done that, you know.
And so yeah, she's driving a little hurt with a couple broken bones or something in her hand, and comes off a nationwide win. So she's playing with a little pain, but victory lane always takes a little sting out of that pain, Milty.
Absolutely.
Pace car
lights Simon's
finally
out
here.
Again,
Yeah,
track position again.
So
let's see what he does with no tires here.
Yeah, and we
saw him 15 laps.
We saw him get a little out of shape earlier, Milty. Maybe trying to, as he was toward the back there, trying to make up maybe a little too much ground too fast and got out of shape. So let's see what he does now at the front of the field.
And everybody else got foe, so
that's
he's
right.
in trouble.
Yeah, and I think Sam here, of course, FSB rules here. Sam has to bide his time. He can't really make a move here until the back straight.
Yep. Can't pass another car. It's a little tedious, but it provides you know, making sure we don't have first corner calamities.
And
long time rule.
Sam makes a move now, dives the car down to the inside, and Dave up high. It looked like he might have got, he got into the wall there a little, Milty. Now we got a 3 wide briefly for the lead, but Sam Young on the low line. Mark DeSenza on the outside really got a great run there.
Well, the world champion.
Wow, and an outside pass by Mark DeSenza. That's an awesome pass.
Yeah, he's raring to go, man. He's due for a Friday night here, and Nicole's right there. Nicole scrapes off the wall a little bit. Car's crashing. We got the O2 around.
And the 72 is also around, Milty.
191, big wreck here. Caution, obviously, is out.
And the 72 spinning around in the grass. And caution is out. And man, it's just let's see what happened here. Riding with Mike Pruitt.
Looks like the O2, Dave Simons, going backwards with those tired tires, got up in the gray and spun it. Just another.
He entered into.
Yeah,
he entered in very high.
Then they crashed. He really didn't, you know, the checkup caused the cars to crash after they went by him.
Yeah, Mike Pruitt hard into the outside wall there. It looked like Mark Favor got hard into the outside wall, and a 48 car just bashed into the 72.
Ah, man, that's so tough for Greg Combs.
Yeah.
He was really
the
top
44
5.
was in
that. Was his best run so far on national internet TV, and tough luck for Greg there. Caramba. Well, Possum Hollow, they got beer on tap, so
yeah, and
he'll need
he's gonna need a couple there. So let's go back to the front here, Milty. Yeah, a bunch of guys in the pits here that were part of that carnage, and we see the 72 car come limping in. Milty's on fire. Let him know he's on fire.
Come on, you're on fire. Get out of there, son. Drive it over to a station.
Yeah,
my dad drove for Ferrari. He was on fire about 4 times.
Milty, he's a Texan, Milty. You don't care about no fire. It's hot there every day.
Great Combs still running.
And the crew did it. It looked like a great, but they're going to have to retire that car, Milty. But the crew did a great job of putting out that fire for Mike Pruitt. And fortunately, the car too damaged to continue. And you see, his reason for retirement, Milty, is a camshaft. So the engine blew up, and it looked like maybe an oil line caught fire there as well. And so Mike Pruitt.
Boy, they're running around like chickens with their head cut off. Come on, get out of there. Window net is open. He's out. I'm out of here. Woo!
Yeah, we don't want any injuries. Like we said, a lot of FSBers driving hurt this year for various reasons. So we don't want to see any more injuries pile up here. these large fields, Milty, man, when something happens and there's 20 cars around you, sometimes it can be like a pinball machine. And I think being at the front is where you need to be.
Are we in the? So where we are with the points? We in the chase? We getting close?
Well, there's no chase, of course, here in the Aero Series. It's old-fashioned. Person with the most points at the end of 20 races is the winner. Robert Bokum with a comfortable 50-plus point lead over Ken Hansen. But Ken Hansen, of course, Milty, has run into a lot of problems tonight. He's still running. I don't know.
He's got to get under 20 again.
I know you mentioned 2 incidents, Milty. I don't know if he's looked at him and determined he's good. I don't know if he was involved in 2. But
well, that first one was.
Yeah.
We don't know why he went.
Yeah,
we never caught it. We caught the other wreck, you know. So.
But he's down in 25th. So nonetheless, even if he retires right now, Milty, it really won't affect a lot of positioning for him.
Only the shadow knows.
But he's in 2nd in points, so he's going to take a big hit. And let's take it. We see that. Joe Cutt also 4 laps down, so Joe I think might have been involved in a couple of these other earlier cautions and had to take care of some business in the pits, and he's fallen a few laps down as well.
Only our 2nd lap car right there.
Yeah, no.
Pretty impressive.
See, many other cars have retired. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 retirees. 2 off the lead lap, but still 23. 23 cars still on the lead lap, Milty, as we hit 50 laps to go. So mindset, Milty, at 50 to go. What are you thinking? If you're at the front here, if you're Mark, Sam, Nicole, Matt, what's your mindset with the 50 laps to go? You want to get the lead as soon as possible because of these cautions?
It's kind of time to go. You know, but you don't want to wreck to do it. But gotta make track position pit because your pit window is going to be 1 stop if it goes green.
And so, looked like Bill got off to Nicole or Bill. I don't know. One of the 2 there got off to a kind of a slow start there, and that's put a big gap between the top 2. Mark DeSenza, Sam Young pull away. The 88 and the 9, of course, are laps down, and they fall in behind to fill in that gap. But now Nicole's getting back up to speed there. I don't know if there was a missed shift there by Nicole or maybe some contact with
I think the draft.
Looks like we got another caution out too, Milty. And there's a car spinning and wrecking here in the back of the field.
That's Guy Pitra and Mark Fravor's on fire. Pull that thing over, son. Get out of there. What are you doing? Come on, man. He's on fire. Get over to him.
He's stubborn. The 44 car stubbornly going around.
How can he breathe in that thing?
Just smoke pouring out from the windows and from the hood.
That's leaving a snail trail right there, man. Oh, man.
The pace car, as you see, dives out to pick up the field. But 02 was involved in that. The 43 was involved in that.
Oh, he almost wrecked the pace car.
Yeah.
What
Luckily,
the hell are you doing? You can't see out of that thing. There's no way. I see my dad, you know, back in the old days, you could stick your head out the window. Seen him do that when he busted up the Pontiac at Laguna Seca, but now you got the hands device there. Of course, it's not real, so we're just playing around.
And yeah, another bunch of cars involved in that, Milty, and
trying to get it sorted out here. It's crazy.
Yeah, it is. Let's see, we have what, 40? Yeah, I don't even know. 46 laps to go now, and counting under caution here.
Well, you still can't make it that far.
Yeah, so even if you were to stop right here, you
unless you want to make track position. These guys, we got great combs. We got to see. This would be a chance to move up right now. Got to figure you're going to have cautions again. You might as well take a chance.
Yeah, we see not a lot of takers on pit lane this time.
But the
Mark
leaders
DeSenza,
didn't pit, so
Sam Young, Nicole, Billy Arvo, and Mal Hawkins. Our top 5 there. Sixth there, the 30 car, Mike Guidry. He's kept the car, I think, fairly clean tonight. The 19 Troy Higgins has as well, and Troy's been up in the top 5, and it looks like he's slowly working his way back up to the top 5 again. He's in 7th.
Well, Mike, your teammate there, has done well. He's rookie, and he's looking to do well on TV here.
Steve Weber, top 10 right now. Robert Bokum is working his way back. He's elected some different strategies, and he's slowly working his way back. He's up to 9th. And the 23 car, new teammate there. And maybe the alliance is already paying some dividends. Jim Schaff in the top 10 here, so representing Thor Dog and getting them in the top 10. Of course, Dog leading laps, and now another Thor Dog in the top 10. So maybe that's a shot of adrenaline for him, LT.
Yeah, and John's been kind of riding solo for a while there, hanging out with the Possum guys on TeamSpeak during the races. So it's good to see him get a teammate and start to get the ball rolling there.
Okay, let's go back a little further in the field here from our top 10. The 8 of Dino Francisconi. 99 of Pops Markison slowly making some progress here in 12th, Milty. We heard Pops earlier during practice. He's a little down on himself right now, you know. Had a few incidents maybe, and we've all been there, and I've been there too many times. Maybe all he needs is one good finish, and maybe this is the one. He's up to 12th, and I think he's kept his car pretty clean tonight too. And you know, as cars keep getting little nicks and dings and dents, the game does punish you with a little top speed sometimes. Like you'll be a mile or two slower than you should be, and you don't draft as cleanly. So you know, as that happens to cars, and you keep your car clean, you get that little advantage. So you might not have the best car, but you have the cleanest car, and that sometimes pays off too. Right behind Pops is, as we were talking about, the 108 of Dog Palmer. So Dog sitting there in 13th, so he's kept a solid car all night. Staying in the top half of the field and doing what he needs to do. So see if he can
I think he
get back up there into the top 10.
Point, you know, and got on TV there, and now he's going back to a realistic position for what he wants to do, which is kind of wait and see and then push at the end as we go green.
Yeah, we're slowly getting ready for green. Mark DeSenza will lead the field down. Sam Young second, Nicole Johnson third in the 5 car. Bill Yarbrough. Milty, it looks to me that the 5 car may have lost a gear. Another slow restart for the 5 car. I wonder if she's missing 3rd gear. Six leads him down. Sam having to take that high line to avoid Joe Cutt. Joe Cutt got a little out of shape there. He had to get on the brakes, and that's piled up this front part of the field, Milty.
Don't see nothing on the scanner.
The 88 really piled up these lead lap cars, so there's some patience having to be shown here by these leaders. And the 88 and the 9 are laps down, but racing hard right now. And Nicole has cleared Ken, and Joe Cutt now in front of her. And Matt Watkins and Bill Yarbrough side by side. And that's a battle of some veteran drivers there, Milty.
Oh boy.
Matt getting up into that gray area where the car can get loose. But man,
Nine is still, you know, pretty fast. But it's kind of for the second tier group of guys. They're kind of thinking it's time to go here. We got to do something.
Yeah, and you can see this has really separated the leaders, Milty. Mark DeSenza, Sam Young have Joe Cutt as a buffer right now in front of Nicole. So they're sure happy to see that. And there's Ken Hansen right there next in line. And then finally we get back to Matt Watkins, who's our fourth car, but 6th in the running order. Matt finally able to get around Bill there. That was a great battle there between the two. And let's see if Bill says, you know what, maybe we're going to get some green flag racing. And I better just save just a bit here. 30 of Mike Guidry too, Milty. He's kept up that top 10 position now. He's up to 6th.
He's really settling into these paces with these cautions and realizing that he needs to just kind of settle in there and ride with these guys that know how to get to the front
and
later.
Yeah, and he's just made a great run there on the 54 car, and he went down onto that apron, which is that's a line that you actually see him run in the real Chicagoland track, Milty, where the guys get that great run out of 4 and then dive down to the apron there. But Yarbrough, the veteran that he is, he held off that charge without blinking an eye, it looked like. But look at the front of this field. It's still real dicey as now Nicole finally gets around Joe Cutt. And now Ken Hansen is moving up, Milty. Does seem to have a fast car. It looks like about 5 or 6 laps for the car to come in, but when it does, it seems very competitive. So unfortunate he's a couple laps down.
Well, that's his style anyway. It's kind of similar to mine in this kind of racing. I mean, it's just what he's good at, and you know, that's how he won the race he won. So we
got some great racing all throughout here. Now Matt Watkins is to the inside of Ken Hansen. So now, you know, Milty, there are also, like you've been talking earlier in other broadcasts, when you are the laps down and you're fighting for that one position to get ahead of the and Sam onto the apron there, gets really loose. He's into the grass.
Whoa.
As he comes out, and the spotter won't help him, but everyone,
just barely
wow.
Troy Higgins. And then Troy Higgins goes, that was a lot of cooperation.
Wow. Give and take. Co-opetition. Well, that's cost Sam that prime second place position, though. But Nicole says, I'll take up that spot, Sam. Don't worry. And Sam looked like he got onto the wall there, too. So Sam's got to gather it back in here. Take a deep breath, Sammy.
That's how quick it goes away. When things go bad for you, you really don't want to compound it, especially when you have a clean car. But
yeah, you make a mistake, then I'm sure Sam was a little disappointed in himself for making that little mistake. And
takes away your focus.
Yeah, and it looked like it bounced off the wall as well. But this lead group here, Milty, is really racing hard. The 6 and the 5 now battling, and now Nicole.
15's got to go. He's coming.
Yeah, not walking, but Joe Cutt still right there in the mix. In the third in the running order here, but of course Joe Cutt laps down, but Nicole making a move to the inside of her teammate. Side by side is for the lead.
There, so they don't have, and he's leading the points quite a bit. So I think the blinders are off right now for these two Boca Motorsports cars. The Upper Collision Center car versus the Swift Trucking car. What's going to happen there?
Wow, there's some good racing going on here.
and they are teammates. But these guys know the gal is not going to back off, and she feels it's time to go, and so does the 15. You've seen him kind of save a little bit, though. You're about to see the little stuff.
We're right here with Robert Bocum, Apple Collision Centers on the hood, Milty. And let's see what he sees here. We're right up on his roof here, so we get a nice clear view. You see Matt Watkins taking the lead from Nicole. And there's a spin, Joe Cut. And
he got loose in front of the 19, and it piles up a big bank of cars there.
Oh, boy, we just saw a major hit there on Bill Yarbrough. Man, that was like out of a horror movie. And cars are still wrecking. Joe Cut. Man, we had a front row seat to that, Milty. Let's ride here with Bill Yarbrough, Milty, and you might want to get a trash can or...
Oh my goodness, he's on fire in the pits, dude. Get out of there. Come on.
Boy,
he's unbuckling the belt, getting out. Another fire in the pits.
Chicagoland fire department's really working overtime tonight. But Milty, if you need a trash can here, Bill Yarbrough spinning hard into the wall. Then it looks like everything's fine, and then, oh, Mike Sanders. Oh, look out. Oh, the carnage, the humanity.
Damn.
The humanity, Milty.
You just got knocked out.
That's a wreck. That's a major league wreck right there.
I don't know if he could see the smoke or whatever, but it looked like Mike Sanders was coming full boat there. You have to get an in-car from him and see if he was on the brakes there, but
that was a hard hit. That was a
pit
hard
road
hit.
Is crazy. Sanders, he's beat up. He misses his stall. He's still trying, and they're getting him tires and service, but he's beat up there.
Riding with Mike Sanders here, Milty.
He's out of the in-car center. He's all right.
We see the wreck. We see the wrecks. And he went high, and there's Bill Yarbrough just sitting there. And wow, that was a hard hit. And a bump to Joe Cut, who looked like maybe stalled out there. You see cars streaming through the grass. We see the 8 car spinning, the 9 car in the grass. We see cars. It's a parking lot here on the front stretch.
Well, we'll reset. I'll be right back.
Back live here. Let's take a look at our recap. The 15 car is our leader. Under caution here with at lap 79 of 107 here at FSBRacing.com. Aero 88 Series Friday nights. Big field, lots of action, lots of wrecking. Unfortunately, maybe a few too many cautions. But, you know, when you have a 30-car field and you have 30 competitive racers, contact is inevitable. And sometimes some would say what's inevitable is when the 15-car shows up for a race, he ends up leading the other cars, whether there's 29 other cars or 10 other cars. He seems to find his way to the front, and he's done that. And the guy right behind him is someone he's used to seeing either in front of him or right behind him, and that's the 18 car. So the cream rising to the top here as laps are winding down. 28 laps remaining. 15, 18, 1, 2. Steve Weber. Getting confusing names now. Steve Weber in third. So Webb with a great run so far, and it looks like the car is shiny and clean still. Looks like they polished it up during his pit stop and changed 4 tires, fuel, and polished it. That thing's gleaming here in the lights of Chicagoland.
He's been real patient, and I think these Friday night races with the big fields and everything, you got to be lucky. You also got to be patient and get to the front at the end.
There's the 5 of Nicole Johnson, the 51 of Dave Jandry. Milty haven't called his name or number, I don't think, maybe once this whole night, but all of a sudden, 28 to go, and there's the 51 car. It's like Mark Martin or something, you know. Remember Mark Martin? You'd see like you'd poke your head in at lap 50 and he's 28th, and you poke your lap in at lap 100 and he's 20th, and then you go out and do your stuff and you come back with 10 to go and he's like top 10. And you're like, how did he get there? Back to green. Matt Watkins is our leader, leads us down. 18 Robert Volcom second, Steve Weber third, Nicole Johnson fourth. Dave Jandry 5th, and there's Pops continuing his march to the front. Pops feeling a little spry here at Chicagoland.
Well, and Tour Dog in 7th there slowly crept back up.
Yeah, and now he has a teammate just 2 behind him, right between Dog and Guy Petra, and then there's Jim Schaff in the 23 car. So.
Well, the signing of the 23 is going to help hit their program and John's racing, because he's got a great attitude, and he's also got lots of sim racing experience, which John doesn't have as much, you know.
And we got some mixing.
Even though he is rookie cup champion. You know?
We got some mixing up going on here at the front yet again, Milty. The 5 and the 83 battling here side by side. And that allowed the 108 to go by him. So Dog taking advantage of some racing there, and he's managed to move up to the 4th position. Dave Jandry also taking advantage of that racing there, and he's up to 3rd, and he's coming to close down the 15 and 18.
I told these guys before the race, you know, somebody beat the 15 or the 18. Well, there's Dave Jandry right there. He can do it.
Oh, yes, he could.
But guess who's in 1st and 2nd again? These guys just find a way to get there, and it's different every race. They weren't even close to each other. They were all over the place, and here they are again.
And we see the top 4 there. And top 5. You could throw a blanket around the top 5 right now. Nicole in the inside of the 108, and she'll take that position. Dave Jandry a little into the wall there.
She's like BS, you know, because we talk a lot, you know, especially doing the road racing. Do a lot of testing together before we race hard against each other, and you know, I've given her my 2 cents, you know, which just means nothing. But
we got another caution out there too.
This is the kind of race I want to see her run, because she has got. It's like I told her, man, girl, you can beat these guys, man. Just got to put it together, you know. Not that I can, but.
And it looked like the 8 of Dino Francisconi spun there, Milty. A little bump there maybe by the 191. And spun him into the grass, and caution did come out.
Dino got on the apron a little and got kind of caught behind the 48 and had to get out of it. And at the same time, Mike Sanders was starting to make his move low. Mike's been in a couple there. I don't know.
And there definitely was some contact between the 191 and the 8 there. And,
well, that's definitely one right there.
Yeah, and the caution did come out, which spun
the leader is in. Whoa, Bolcom goes wide. Well, the boys at Apple Collision Center are taking a look at this. But they know where they put their money is to good use.
Yeah,
because, this guy's on the front page every week.
Riding with the 15 car here, Matt Watkins, as he gets his pit. Of course, Matt did not qualify, and you can see, can't even see the end of pit lane. He's pitting so far down.
He's got Sharfie in front of him there.
Yeah, so he's going to have to deal with cars still coming in, and now he's got to make sure he doesn't speed 45 miles an hour here at Chicagoland. You see he's right on a couple 46 blinks. 46, 45, 46, 45.
Watson Motorsports, multiple teams.
But look how he just masterfully guided his car through pit lane.
That's how the pro rolls. In my opinion, greatest stock car driver in the history of this league. Right there. Up to this point. You know, obviously, Robert Bokum, you got to put that in your discussions along with, you know, Damien got still. He was pretty good.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, he was all right.
Well, he's the reason why Matt makes those pit stops.
Yeah, and speaking of...
got tired of getting beat on.
Speaking of people who are all right, Milty, recently some posts in the forum for Texas Nation, who was a little under the weather, but apparently improving now. And of course, a shout out to him. I'm sure he's not watching or listening, but he was one of those. I mean, I remember when I first joined Milty. Man, what a talent the kid was. I mean, he was up there with the best of them. And if he was still here, I think we might be talking about his legendary numbers as well. So hopefully he's feeling better.
Yeah, 11 years of sim racing. I still remember him beating me at Homestead, and then me beating him. And those were battles that's why you do this game, you know.
Yeah, he was a very good racer, good kid, and you know, he has some medical issues that you know, we hope that he's
double lung transplant.
Yeah, and we hope that he's feeling better. Last report we got, Milty, was positive that he was doing better, so we're thinking about him, and maybe, you know, hey, some other guys have rehabbed with FSB Texas, so you know, come on back, maybe a couple laps around the track, and you'll be on your way to feeling better.
Yeah, we had a big race years ago when he was getting ready for his surgery, and we raised quite over $1,000. You know, I don't know the number particularly, but a lot of people from the league and people watching on Twitch TV donated, and it was so neat. That's when you transcend what we thought when we started this league. We had no idea that it would be big enough to get all these friendships and
yeah,
also have
it's
good
nice.
hard racing too.
Absolutely.
Everything we like, you know.
And it's nice how guys, you know, come in and you get to know them, and then maybe they go away for a little bit, but they come back. And, you know, it's like they never left and things like that. We saw James Hatch come back here for a couple races. He's busy racing the real thing, Milty. And, you know, it's good to see. He was another guy that if he just stayed here and raced, Milty, he might be the one we talk about every broadcast.
He's won big-time races in iRacing.
Oh, yeah.
Me and him had some battles, able to beat him once at Pocono.
And road
which
course
was one
racing,
other highlight. You don't forget those, man. No. And then to get his first Sprint Cup win for real.
Yeah, a real sprint car win, which I'm sure he's just
he's
thrilled.
the same age as my daughter, so he's like 23, you know. So, and we talked a lot through racing, especially when we had contact, and we'd always be cool, you know, and because I respected it was a privilege to race against him. Now he's doing it for real.
Well, Milty, the 108 again through this track position, and he came out with a great restart too, and he's just pulled away here.
He puts the time in.
That's awesome.
He's gotten him the good wheel. He's humble. He's competitive, but realistic, smart. He's a weapons operator for F4 Phantoms. End of Vietnam, and and after Vietnam and protecting our country, and you know, he got hurt doing that, you know, and so he's driving this with his hands, brakes, and of course here you don't need no brakes except for pit stops, but you marvel at these guys like him, and Dan Francisconi just uses the palms of his hand on the computer to race.
Yeah, it's quite awesome.
And they're so good, you don't even, we just mention it because it's inspirational. It's not to focus like they wouldn't want us to
no, absolutely
say
not.
there was like, you know, a disadvantage, because they're competitors out there.
Oh, and there's some contact there with the 32 car. He's up into the wall. Maybe just a slight brush of contact there. The 32 car falling back quickly, and everyone avoiding him.
And he's been I'm very impressed with him. He's run clean and well,
and we're starting. Things are starting.
But that's a lick.
Yeah, and that's from the second position, so he's going to probably be a little disappointed there.
Pit stops are going to come pretty soon here. Now you got to think about it. You split it in half. There was like 47 laps there, or 45.
And
so
here comes Nicole.
So you're getting really close to pit window. What do? You pit early, or do you follow the pattern of the race, which was cautions? You know.
Yeah.
This is the longest green flag run I think we've had.
Well, I don't know. Yeah, maybe it is now. Nicole is in the lead now, got around Dog, and so did Matt Watkins. So the 5 and the 15 now are around the 108, and Albert Bokum
13 to go.
Charging up through the field again with those new tires.
They got to stop again. Cannot make it on fuel.
I think they may be able to make it here, Milty. As we're watching the race, and they're certainly not holding anything back right now. So,
yeah, okay.
5 is in the lead.
Yeah, you're right. 15. I was still taking a caution to go. Another beer.
The 108 and the 18 now.
Don't mind if I do.
Battling for third.
Like James Hunt told Nicky Lauda, maybe I'll have 2.
So third place has now changed hands. The 18 has it. The 108 gives it up. So Dog back to fourth. Bokum up to third. Matt Watkins second. Nicole Johnson on point. See if she can hold off the charge of
24
FSB's.
Laps or something when they went green. Yeah, they can make it easy. I don't know what I was thinking there.
And now look, we're seeing some battles here for the 5th position. The 151 and the 99 almost got together for that 5th position. Guy Petras stays on the gas and keeps the position down onto the apron. And
this is the best
what a battle here
in a long time. So both those cars won 2 Fords there, which as guys way down low on the apron. Wow. It's getting that car to stick too.
Nicole still holding Matt Watkins at bay here at second. Robert Bokum right there. Now, of course, we know the 5 and the 18 are
Whoa! There goes Troy down low. He's not having none of that. He wants some of this. Oh, 3 wide. Steve Weber gets in front. Troy backs off. Great racing right there. Dave Henry on the outside. They all want a piece of Pops right here.
Yeah, some real good racing there, and some top 3 are still single file. Looks like maybe now we know that they're teammates, Milty, of the 18 and the 5. So
now the 80 goes down low. He said, "I seen that act before." Can he pull it off? He's side by side. Yeah, he's got the inside line there. Pops is fighting hard on the outside. Wow, and they're stuck together. The leaders too. We got racing all over.
And the 83 and 99 still side by side. The 51 of James Dandry there has nowhere to go.
Dangerland right there. Chihuahua.
All 4 of these cars are just nose to tail, really nowhere for any of them to go. Finally, the 83 gets the lead.
Here and try to attack the cars in front. They're racing for 7th place. That's get in line and go after these guys. Got
now
enough
Guy
time
Petra and the 108 are going to be battling very momentarily. It looks like Guy Petra's car seems to be coming in, Milty. And like I said, fresh off last night's Pro Truck win, I think he's feeling it again here. But does he? I think he might run out of laps here. We only have 7 to go. The 5 of Nicole Johnson gets up a little higher and brushes the wall. And the 15 and 18 both take advantage. Wow, that's just unfortunate.
That's horrible.
And she still hasn't cleared Robert there, so they're still side by side. And now she drops back to 3rd. Matt Watkins has assumed the lead with 5 to go.
But now it's going to be
6 to go.
So what she's going to want to do is, there's no team orders, but I can tell you right now, once again, we've seen this scenario.
Man,
and Matt won
this
by about 2 feet. So Bochum, we got Monsoon, Bochum, and Bochum. So the Apple Collision Center team is going to try to team up together and get Robert to win here now, because Nicole put herself in that position.
And don't know if any of these other cars can make up that distance in such few laps, Milty. The 108's still holding that position, but now he's battling the 83 for the 4th position. Guy Petra right there, the 51 of Dave Jandry also coming into the picture.
Close. Too much of a gap from the 5, though. The 5 might be used up here.
Yeah,
she needs to get it together and get back with Robert and push him.
Yeah, also with that brush of the wall, there could be
right behind the 15.
Yeah, she could have a little damage there, Milty, and might not be able to keep up with the pace now that the 15 and the 18 are setting.
5's in the wall again, so it's mano a mano once again. The 2 great ones.
4 laps to go. Matt Watkins, our leader. Robert Bochum right on his bumper in 2nd. Nicole
Robert's told us
falling
many
back
times,
a little.
I don't want to wreck him for this, but then again,
well,
he's got to be tired of finishing right there.
Well, see what
but
he's going to do.
He's not racing to wreck. He's racing to get a run off the corner. That's what he's thinking. So he's trying to get off it a little bit early, but these guys were teammates at Monsoon, world champions. And so they know each other.
Yeah, and from many conversations with both of them, Matt drives his mirror probably better than anyone. Some people, like especially me, when I start looking in my mirror, I start wrecking.
Yep.
He doesn't. He actually is examining Robert's line and saying, okay, he's running a little lower than me. I'll stay up a little higher.
They'll even talk trash to each other a little bit. They'll jump channels, and they're kind of cool with that, you know. I mean, they're password, but they'll talk a little junk.
And we see the flagman waving the white flag here. 1 to go. Robert hits the apron, but doesn't gain anything from it. Matt Watkins has him covered. Going down the backstretch here. This is his last time. He's going to get up tight as he can. Matt Watkins covering that inside line. He goes to the outside. This will be his chance. Can he power on the outside?
The 16
He's up. He's up.
He's up on the outside. He's up. Bump. It's neck and
oh, what a finish.
It's the 15 again.
It's the 15 again by 1/100th of a second.
That was like
the Darlington finish with
finish.
Man, that was unbelievable finish, and what a heartbreak for Robert. But what a run by Robert Bochum there.
Yeah, it's real easy, you know, but the skill of Robert, he knew Matt was going to defend low with 1 to go. So he had to try to, he did it perfect then. He faked him down low, and then Matt overcommit to defend the low line, and it slowed him down, then he took the outside line. Normally, you're not going to win position on the outside like that. But by plugging him right there, see how he went down low, and then 15 over 2 minutes, so he got the run right there. That was beautiful.
What a great run there by Robert. Unbelievable.
Fantastic. That's the best you can do in that situation. 2 feet, maybe 18 inches right there. Wow.
Yeah, That's all I can say too, Milty, is wow. What a finish.
And the 15 is just on the metal now because he has burned those tires up. He knows a good
Look at that finish,
competition
Milty.
when he sees it.
Look at that finish.
But the skill it took the 18 to make the 15 go down too low right there was just absolute perfect feint. And you can't write that stuff up. I mean, you can see it right now. Kids at home, that's the best you can do when you're in second in the stock car at Chicagoland.
I mean, look at that difference, Milty. Look at that.
You set him up perfect, but he's still and you know, Matt did everything perfect too, but it was the perfect move to set up that great finish. About 2 feet right there.
Yeah, that's, I mean, literally.
If those are 12 by 12, that's maybe 2.5 feet.
Yeah, it's great finish.
Pretty damn close.
Great finish there by Matt Watkins and Robert Bokum, putting on a great show like they always do, Milty. Nicole Johnson, let's gather back up here just a bit and check the rest of these running orders, and let's see who's the big winner here tonight. Nicole Johnson, I'm sure a little disappointed there, a little brush with the wall while leading, caused her to fall back to third. Steve Weber with a great run, Milty, top 5 and 4th. Dave Jandry, of course, like we said, slowly made his way up there.
Track position killed those guys. All those cars in the top 10 there were competitive. They just, the track position killed them and the accordion effect, and the leaders were gone.
Yeah, great finish for Troy. Finishing 6th. Dog Palmer, shout out to Dog. Ma Palmer is going to be happy with her son there. Top 10 finish. Guy Petra 8th. Pops Margison brought it home in 9th. Pops racing his guts out there at the end, Milty. He had his hands full with a lot of guys and managed to bring it home with the top 10 still. And Dino through the grass, had some excursions, battles back for a top 10 position.
That's
nice
job. First top 10 on Friday nights, and of course we talk a lot about Dan and Scony.com, but his brother Dino, a fantastic run. Kudos to the Madera native.
Absolutely, Milty, and now it's time for Milty to do his tradition of trolling down into the channels and seeing if he can pull up some of our top 3, if possible, to get our usual suspects almost, Milty. The 15 and 18, Robert Bokum, Matt Watkins, and Nicole with a quality finish as well. So see what you can do there, buddy. And away he goes to congratulate and get everyone ready. Let's see here. So Matt, man, what a finish there! Just a 1/100th of a second. Most likely the closest race in FSB history. We'll have to check the historic records of FSB, kept, of course, meticulously by boss man Jim Ray. We'll have to check, but .01 is as close as you can get. Well, Matt, what a finish is all I can say. I don't know what else I can say about it except what a run there by Robert. Played it as best as you could do, and 1/100th of a second is the difference.
Yeah, that was a pretty cool finish for the fans, I'm sure. Give a shout out to Apple Cleveland Centers. I know they're watching. Both of them from the hotel room because they're on trips. But that was cool. I didn't know. I figured if I was the only way I was going to have because we were pretty even once you got up front. It's pretty hard to pass.
You're in the motel a lot there. What are you doing?
Oh no, I'm saying the Apple Collision Center guys are. No, they're
oh, okay.
The owner Willie, his daughter, she swims professionally, so I want to give a shout out to her and tell her good luck in her meet this week. And don't forget drop the hammer like we do out here, and then she'll wear them out. But yeah, she's pretty good. But yeah, that was fun. That I knew he was gonna hold the bottom because I had to run earlier when he was getting under Sean, and he'd come down to block it like he's supposed to, and so I thought, well, you know, if I fake him low, maybe I can get him to go low and bound it up a little bit and try the outside. And man, just need a longer car.
Well, you did. You said the way you set him up and made him defend low was just enough to slow him down to give you that run coming out there. It was textbook. You know, I wish I could even. I can think about doing it, but the setup was perfect. Just wasn't enough. And he did actually absolutely what he had to do there. Matt, what was your take on that there?
Yeah. I'm getting into a bad habit of easing up on the last lap, and it's going to cost me eventually. Like, I took turn one super easy, thinking I had it. He got out of nowhere, and then I had no choice but to go low. And enter turn 3 low. That low is incredibly tough. So I thought I was screwed, honestly. I thought there's no chance I'm going to be able to hold it. And it stuck just enough to stay ahead of him. So that was crazy.
Yeah, you had like a straight line
I keep doing that. Yeah.
And again, Matt, choosing to take the non-qualification route, of course, 30-car field, and you had some major adventures through the grass there once, avoiding some of those early wrecks there. So must be really nice to bring it home.
Yeah, it was. I was in the back. It was calm. I got near the front. I think is when I missed a couple wrecks right dead in front of me, and yeah.
You were calm going through the grass there.
Yeah, like that grass on this track has reasonable grip because some of those tracks would have been kind of scary.
Yeah, I seen that on the replay. That was pretty sweet. I even said in the broadcast, I was like, damn, I'm pretty sure Matt just shit his drawers. I said, 'cause he comes to the grass sideways just in. So, but yeah, I had to go to the back twice, and I agree with Matt. I think it was safer back there because when you got up front, man, it was not that anybody was doing anything crazy. It was hard racing. The car was so loose anyway. So, yeah, I kind of enjoyed it back there a few times.
We watched you guys march to the front, and you did it in like 2 different ways until you got closer to the end. Then all of a sudden you were there. You just positioned yourself, moved up. One of you was like 9th, and the other was 24th, and we're like, you know, eventually we're going to interview somebody else, you know. But
not tonight.
Not tonight.
I was kind of hoping if we did something different that we wouldn't end up, but we always right there with like the last shootout. It's always looking at that damn Donkey Kong car. So, you know, it's always coming down to it. But you know, I wouldn't want any other way. Matt races me clean. We have good battles. I mean, you can't. I don't know too many more people that could have run side by side and do what we did a few times.
Yeah, the finish. The bomb.
Yeah, and of course, they're right toward the end there, Matt. Nicole looked like she got up just a bit into the wall there, and that was your chance. We
wanted her to kick your guys' ass, but it just didn't happen.
Were you thinking there, if you made a move, knowing Robert was right behind you, that would have been a 2 against 1 there?
Yeah, and I knew 5-car took 2 tires, so it wasn't going to last forever. She did good for a while on the 2 tires, but that many laps left. Eventually, like you just go lose a slight amount of speed, and that was Robert almost got a chance to go 3 wide there, and that probably would have been the winning move. So I just barely move it over a little bit and make sure.
I noticed that. I didn't know if your car had a pull a little bit there to it or what. No, that was fun. I knew he was going to do it. That's why I backed out. It wasn't worth it. It made a good finish.
Yeah, and that last corner, I had to lift a lot because if I didn't, we would have wiped both of us out because it would have went straight to the wall. But yeah, that was a close finish.
Yeah, but that
1 inch, I guess.
For him to make the move, get you down low, knew he got you out of apex, the apex he wanted, and then he ran up high. You knew exactly what he was going to do in all those split seconds. Then you kept it down low, but you still maintained. When you got a car that low right on top of you on the outside, and you were still able to keep it down and also maintain the speed, that's very impressive. That was because you could have just wiped them out there trying to keep the position, but it was just perfect. What a great show.
Yeah, almost spun out. I whipped the wheel pretty hard there to make it turn reasonable, and yeah, definitely wasn't going to risk wiping him out because he's doing point race and all that kind of stuff. So it would have been too smart to wipe him out in that position. So I made sure I could hold it for sure.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Yeah, awesome job. And
but that mowing job, I don't know. I think Chicagoland wants to hire you as a gardener there.
Yeah, I was in there a few times, so.
Well, great run, both of you. Fabulous finish. We appreciate your skills and you doing that under the bright lights of Friday night with big fields, and you show that the best can take a lot of different paths to get to the front. So awesome to see, awesome to watch, and we appreciate both your time. And congrats, Matt, and great job, Robert.
Appreciate it. Yeah, congratulations, man. I want to give a shout out to you two, man. You drove a hell of a race. I want to give a shout out to Dog. I thought he drove a great race tonight. He was up on the wheel. Y'all kept talking about how was his home track. Y'all had him gassed up because he was driving the wheels off that thing. So I want to give a shout out tonight to him. It's good to see these different drivers up there, up front and stuff, battling. And, I mean, you just got so many new drivers coming on, or older drivers picking it up, like Cole and stuff like that. So. It gets harder and harder each week. I promise you, it ain't as easy as you think.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, a lot of good competition out there, and just like you two battled for the win, there was battles all along 5th, 6th, 7th positions were side by side, and just a lot of good, hard, clean racing throughout that last run there, which was nice to see.
Yeah, and definitely need to give Goody's headache powder for Ken Hansen. He got disconnected before the race even started, so he's already in the hole, and
that's
he just could not catch him right for the caution.
We didn't see the caution, yeah.
Yeah, him and Joe both got disconnected, and that's it stinks because there's nothing you can do. It's out of your hands, So then from there on, you're just battling and driving as hard as you can. You're just hoping that you can get that lap back, and you just a couple times he was right there, but caution's right at the line, So I hate to see that because I know.
He raced clean and didn't impact any cars, and so the championships, going to be a little stretch for him there, but it still ain't over yet. You still got him on your heels there, but you definitely gained some points today.
Oh, yeah, it's never over. Like I said, I don't really worry about. I don't really care about the points on Friday night. I just enjoy just the way it's on the broadcast, and everybody gets to run against each other. I mean, look, 30-something car field. I mean, that's a blast.
Pretty awesome.
Yeah, it was. So yeah, we'll wrap it up here. Another great race, great broadcast. Yeah, Robert does have a comfortable lead in the points, but like he says, you never take anything for granted. We're just a bit past halfway through, so still a lot of races left, and some tight points all through the field, so there's still a lot of racing to be done here. So next broadcast, Milty, will be on Wednesday in the Pro Cup, and also Robert, a shout out to your teammate there, Mark DeSenza, with a big Pro Cup win earlier in the week. sure that made the Boca Motorsports treasury a little happy after he used up so many cars.
You have to build another win.
Yeah, we had a good. Nicole got a win this week. I got a win. Mark got a win. And a big shout out to Mr. Guy Petrie. He was on the roll last night in his truck. Matt had a little issue or something, got hooked up with him, and they were gone on saving gas, and I couldn't do that with him. So big shout out to the guy. He deserves it. He's been here a long time. And,
always a great racer.
Great attitude. Can't ask for a better attitude than that guy right there. I don't care if he flips 15 times down the back straightaway. He's going to laugh and have a good time afterwards. So.
Yeah, I don't know about his voice is kind of funny, but yeah, he's a good guy.
That's an iPhone he's got.
All right, guys, let's cut this thing off before I run out of tape here. Good race.
Yeah, I gotta go get some beer.
Matt, that was an awesome show as usual, guys, and we appreciate it.
We appreciate y'all. Yep, Emily Harris, if you're out there, good luck tomorrow. Swim your tail off, girl.
Yeah.
All right.
It's up.